All right, well, let's summarize. Let's start with how we thought. I mean, we'll start with Bernie and versus Hillary, I guess. How we think the two of them did. Wes, do you want to?
Yeah, let's do the summary. Bernie, while I saw at the beginning, I looked at some of the tweets, and Michael Schur was like, oh, Bernie may be off his game. I don't think Bernie was off his game. I think each politician brought their show to South Carolina, which is Bernie's show is, hey, these are the facts. What are you, fucking stupid? You don't know this stuff? And then Hillary's like, you're all kind of uneducated children, and I'm just going to smile at you, and I'm going to name specific people. But what she was great at getting her supporters to stand up, identify them by name, identify that she knew their dead children by name, and push herself into that category, all while smiling at everybody all the time. Bernie wasn't able to do that. He wasn't able to go, look, here's this one specific person that I can tell you about, and let me start smiling and tell you how great life is. They were who they were.
The contrast is specifically with regard to the question about gun violence and Black Lives Matter. They both fielded one question like that. And Bernie, he talked about specifics about the militarization of the police and various other policy changes that he would like to make. And Hillary, she named a lot of people who had been the victims of gun violence, but she was extraordinarily vague about. She wants to bring people together, better training for the police, but she wants to bring the victims into the same room with the police, and let's work this out together. And the question was specifically about Beyonce and how the police were, or people supportive of the police had really objected to her. And Hillary did not come out and say, you know what, she's my girl and I got her back. But she also didn't say, well, like Donald Trump, who says, I'm with the police are the good guys. She wanted to have it both ways. And I think, most likely in South Carolina, she can afford to do that.
Yeah, so she's leading by a lot in South Carolina, so she's got to just protect her lead. And as I saw her filibuster some of those answers, it seemed like prevent defense.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
That's what I was thinking.
But she does it really well.
She's a master at it.
Yeah,
man. She's a master at it.
And so in the Beyonce question, you get classic Obama move, right? I'm on Beyonce's side. I'm on the cop side. They got a tough job. On the other hand, the community is concerned, et cetera. And so people got to take whatever they wanted out of that. If they wanted to hear her supporting Beyonce, and certainly the community, they roughly got that. They wanted to hear supporting the cops, they kind of got that. And she stretched out the answer long enough that by the end you didn't care.
But it's as if there's nobody perpetrating the violence. I mean, if you're on the right wing, you're saying it's these black kids, I think I've heard the term super predators somewhere.
Somewhere.
It's their fault, and the police are just responding to that. And if you're with Black Lives Matter, you're like, no, you're killing us, you're targeting us, you're singling us out for this kind of violence, and it's unacceptable. And I wish that she would pay a price for not taking a stand and saying, look, it's either I'm sticking with my super predators line, or I'm going to say, no, I was wrong, it's the police. Which Bernie is much more inclined to do. I'm not saying Bernie didn't come out and say, let's go, lynch some police officers. But he was definitely saying we have real problems with police in this country and they need to be reformed. She was not saying that.
It's just a good line. It's past time that we police the police. Okay. I think that might work in South Carolina too, especially if you said it that way. Okay. But that goes to the heart of who Hillary Clinton is. Hillary Clinton is a parser, right? So she's middle ground. They say there's only two things in Texas and South Carolina. Queer, no. No, you can't say that anymore, right? You can't say that anymore. Okay, no, but Hillary Clinton apparently is one of those, right? So, so if this Hillary Clinton ran in 2004, for example, she slaughters John Kerry, walks away with a nomination, no problem. Now, back then, it was a different Hillary Clinton, different level of experience, et cetera.
She wasn't running in 2004 because she'd just been elected to the Senate. She wanted to get a couple years' experience before she...
Right. You're not supposed to just get elected and then run for president.
Yeah. Apparently somebody missed that memo.
Old rules.
Right. So she is a classic politician in that sense, but I don't mean it as an insult, because you can say classic politician and smarmy or, disingenuous and stuff. And I know she's charged with being disingenuous sometimes by me. But in this case, that's what good politicians do. That's why a lot of people watch this debate that have watched politics for a long time. and go, yeah, that man, she was good, right?
She's on it, man.
Yeah, like, so because she is holding up a mirror to whatever you want to see, right? And remember, Barack Obama did that very, very, very successfully in 2008, right? A little bit of this and a little bit of that, and whatever you wanted, you got out of him. And so he became a vessel for your hopes and dreams and et cetera. She's not as hopey dreamy, but I thought she did that successfully here if you're just looking at the politics of it.
Well, Bernie is also a good politician. You know, when he fields questions about how come you don't support Barack Obama, I mean, he has serious disagreements with Barack Obama, but he can't come to South Carolina and say, okay, here's all the reasons why I object to Barack Obama's
Because
policy.
he's black.
Well, that's part of it, and they love President Obama in South Carolina for a number of reasons.
Right.
That's one of them.
So he has to negotiate that.
But it's not just South Carolina. Malcolm makes a great, great point. Bernie Sanders has been playing politics on the Obama answer throughout this entire campaign. When they ask him, you know, do you agree with Obama? He pulls a Hillary Clinton and says a little, I really respect him and love him, and he's a great president. I defend him against the Republicans. If pressed the third follow-up question, right?
Yeah.
He'll be like, well, there were some things I disagreed with him again, but I didn't run against him. I didn't. Who ran against him? I didn't run against him. You ran against him, right? So, but that's a political answer.
All right, it's totally unfair.
Right, because Bernie Sanders actually has a lot of disagreements with President Obama, but he knows that wouldn't play well.
Yeah.
So let's keep it real on that front, too.